stop include. Next, in the include for selection screen. So this is very important to us. Selection screen begin of block. So this is the old syntax for taking the selection screen block. Next, parameters. You are referring to the parameter p underscore rb1. You say type C radio button group. Okay, radio button group rbg1 default x. It means p underscore rb1. We are declaring it as a radio button, and the group for this prb1 is rbg1. Okay, it's a radio button group. See, all the radio buttons should belong to a group. All the radio buttons should belong to a group. The group name here given is rbg1. Okay, so radio button group 1. The meaning is, so default x means by the time when you run the program, the radio button x will be selected. X will be checked or selected by default. That is the reason why default x. Now p underscore rb2, you're saying type C radio button group rbg1. It means rb1, rb2, rb3 are radio buttons corresponding to the radio button group 1 rbg1. Okay, corresponding to the radio buttons rbg1. Okay, so when all the radio buttons belong to rbg1, it means these radio buttons will be belonging to one group, and within the group you can select only one radio button at a time, right? So this is the only addition corresponding to the radio buttons. Okay, so this is about the selection screen. Next, in the start of selection, what I'm saying, if rb1 equal to x, p underscore rb1 equal to x, it means when radio button 1 is selected. When radio button 1 is selected. So remember, equal to x, it means x means selected, the meaning is. So always remember, when you write a condition, to see whether the radio button is checked or not checked, let that x be in uppercase. It should be always in uppercase. Don't put lowercase. Sometimes it will give improper results. So try to put everything in uppercase. And remember, anything, not only this, anything, if you are writing something in the if condition, any checks you are performing, etc. things, you try to put as x. When you are trying to put as x in single quotes, make sure that it is in uppercase, always in uppercase. Okay, not only for this example, can be for any examples. Okay, so now if prb1 equal to x, what I'm doing, I'm saying this is a subroutine. This is a subroutine. This is a perform block. What happens in this case? So perform fetch mara data, fetch underscore mara underscore data. So where is this perform available? You double click on this. It is available in this include. You see, this include especially contains F01. In the standard SAP practice, what I will do is, if there are some such kind of performs or form and form blocks, I will put all of them into an include that ends with F01. F generally stands for forms. Okay, so F01, I will include in F01. So let us also practice the same way or similar way to put these subroutines into a F01 include. So your include can be any name, but in the ending you just add F01. That's it. Simple. Okay. So this include, this perform is available in the, where it is available, it is in F01. So we already included that over here. If you see here, look here, include for subroutines. This is the include for subroutines. And after include for subroutines, there must be a starting point in our program where data fetching starts from. That is the reason why we are calling this event. So this is one of the classical report event. So this is one of the classical report event. Okay, we'll come to know those events in the later sessions. And this is a classical report event which is useful to say system that yes, my data fetching logic or my data fetching related lines of code is present hereafter. Okay, we are just intimating, we are just giving a heads up to the system, right, with respect to this event. So what happens in this fetch Mara data? So in fetch Mara data, what I'm saying, select that respective fields from table called Mara into table LT Mara up to 20 rows. Okay, so we are just taking only the first 20 rows. That's fine, right? So we have the data in the LT Mara internal table. Now go back. Now once data is fetched, what you can do? Display Mara data. Now this is also a subroutine. This is also a subroutine. Where it is present? This is also again present in the same include ending with F01 name, right? So again, I'm checking if LT Mara is not initial. LT Mara is not initial. I'm calling a class called CL demo output. This is standard SAP class. This has a method called display. I'm just passing my internal table LT underscore Mara. Right. What is this class? This is called as a class. This is called as a method. What is this class? What is this method? We'll come to those details in the later sessions. But for now, time being, you remember in our previous programs, if you remember in our previous programs, we were just simply, what are we trying to do in our previous programs? In our previous programs, we were trying to do like this, like write initial data from the database table, loop at internal table into work area. Then we are printing the fields data using the write statement inside the loop and in the loop. Why we are doing this? Because we are fetching the data from the database table, putting that into the internal table. That internal table data, we are showing it in the output. Okay, with respect to this loop and loop and write. It means we are looping on the internal table and we are writing each and every statement on the screen. So to avoid this, SAP has given a standard class, standard or predefined class called CL demo output. Okay, this is a class. So where can we see that class? Transaction code is SC24. Okay, we'll come to this in later sessions. This is called as object-oriented ABAP. ABAP we call it as. Okay, so this class, just you click on display. Click on display. This is the class. This has, you see, this is the methods. These are the methods. There are many methods available over here. Many methods available over here. Each and every method has its own specific usage. Now, for our case, what is that? Display. You see, display is the method. Okay, display is the method. So we are using this display method. What is this display method? This display method has a parameter. You see, data. What are we trying to do in the display method? We are in the display method. We have some kind of parameters like data. It can be any. When you say any, it means that is irrespective of the table structure. It means if you observe here, I said LT Mara. I'm passing it to display method. It means LT Mara has its own structure. Similarly, when we talk about display EKKO data, we are passing display LT EKKO has its own structure. So there is no predefined structure. There is no structure defined in previously, or there is no structure defined by default for this class method, and it accepts any data. That is the reason why you see data associated type is any. Okay, you can send any internal table data. That's what the meaning is. Okay, so now just this is only for your understanding, guys. So but the thing is, you see, this is the method. You need to compare this one. This is the method. You can see here data, any, and name like a string. So this is actually the class method display. Okay, so this is like an attribute in the class. This is like an attribute, but the actual method is, this is the method. Display is the method. You can see this one, display method. Okay, so try to use this in your practice. We'll talk more on this object-oriented ABAP programming in the later sessions. Okay, so now we are at display Mara data subroutine. So we are checking whether this table is filled with the data or not. If yes, then we are calling this class method to display the data. And if there is no data, then we are saying that no data found. We are saying no data found. Okay, this is one thing, and that's about Mara table. Next, else if radio button when radio button 2 is selected. Okay, when radio button 2 is selected. When radio button 2 is selected, what is the radio button 2? Radio button 2 belongs to EQKO table. Radio button 2 belongs to EQKO table. So in EQKO table, we double click on this. We are fetching some fields which are declared in the internal table. We are fetching up to some 20 rows. Okay, we are fetching up to some 20 rows, and we are again calling the next subroutine perform display EQKO data. And what I'm saying here LT EQKO is not initial. Then we are passing display LT EQKO. We are passing that internal table LT EQKO to this class method. If there is no data, you are saying no data found. Okay, so that is one thing. And next, when the data button 3 is selected, then fetch EQPO data. So we are fetching the data from the EQPO table. This EQPO table has some 20 rows, right? And display EQPO data. If you see this display LT EQPO, this is we are calling it with respect to the class demo output display LT EQPO. And if there is no data, you say no data found. Okay, there is no data found. So this is how the program is designed. So what I'll do, I'll just place a breakpoint over here. Okay, so click on execute button. The very first radio button selected is Mara. So click on execute. Okay, click on execute. Now, if you just check it, double click on this. If you see PRB1 equal to X, it means it is selected. Now press F5. Now press F5. Right, you are now here. Now see LT Mara 0. So now press F5. You have some 20 records because you are seeing 20 records. Now press F5. Right, now 20 records are there in the LT Mara internal table. Now just again press F5. You go into this display Mara data. You'll check this condition if this is true or not. Yes, it is true. Okay, this LT Mara has the data, right? It has the data, so it will print the data in the output. Okay, it will print the data in the output. So at this position, what I will do, what I can do, just say F6. Look here, when I'm saying F6, see if I say F5, my control enters into this class method. If I say F6, it goes into this class, execute all the statements, and it will come back. It will come back. Okay, that is the meaning of F6. Right? Let me try clicking F6. You see, it went inside. The control went inside. It has executed all the statements, and it came out. Okay, I mean it is holding there. I just click on close, and you observe now when I click on close button. Now, what is the next line? The next line is this. Now, my control is standing here. It means F6 will execute all the statements and it comes back. It comes back. It comes back. Try to remember. F5, so far we have seen, like we are executing line by line. For example, line number 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Likewise, it is like sequential flow or sequential process. Now, when we talk about F6, when you are at a specific point, when you click F6, what happens? Your control executes all the statements of that block. It can be subroutine, it can be class method, it can be a function module, it can be anything. Okay, it executes and it comes out of that block. It comes out of that block. Okay, so main difference is that. I'll tell you again. Now we are done with this Mara. I'll go to EQKO table. Now click on execute button. Right. Now press F5. Now let us see. RB1. Is RB1 equal to X? No. Check RB2. Yes, RB2 is checked. Check RB3. RB3 is also blank. So RB2 is checked. So what happens? My control enters into this ready button 2 block. Now observe here. What I'm trying to do here. I explained about F6, right? Let me try to explain the same thing with respect to fetch EKKO data. Now I press F6 here. Let us just try to see and observe what happens. Okay. So what is the table inside F6? You have an internal table inside F6. Okay. So press F6. Look, it executed all the lines internally and it came out of that block. It came out of that block. So that is the main advantage of F6. That is the main advantage of F6. Then what is F7? When we talk about F7, very simple. Press F5. Press F5. Okay. Now let us suppose we are here. We are in this block in the display EKKO data. Okay. You think that you know more to be in this block. Let us suppose you want to go out of this block. You execute, for example, you have some 100 lines in this form. In the form, there are some 100 lines. Up to 50th line, you debugged, and you found some. You found something. You found something. Okay, and now nothing is required for you to proceed further from the 50th line to 100th line. You think that no need for you to go for 50th line to 100th line, and you want to return. You want to go back. Okay, in such case, what I will do, I will say F7. You see, it's a return. When I say F7, what happens? You will come out of this block. All the statements in this block will be executed, and you will come out of the block. You'll come out of the block. Now press F7. Okay, you see, we are hold at this point because it is a pop-up. We need to execute this. Now click on close button. Now you see, you are back to your program. You are back to your program. Okay, so that is the usage of F7. That is the usage of F7. Okay, when you are inside the block and when you want to come out of that block, then you will use F7. Then F8 is as usual. When you click F8, all the lines of code will get executed until unless there is no breakpoint. For example, after these lines, if there is a breakpoint, when you execute it, it will stop over there. Anywhere if there is a breakpoint, your process of execution will stop. Okay, if there is no breakpoint and press F8, then your program execution will complete. Very simple. Okay, so that's about your EKKO ready button. Now let us see on EKPO. Click on select EKPO. Click on execute button. Okay, click on execute button. Now see ready button 1, ready button 2, ready button 3. Now see ready button 3 is selected. Now press F5. Press F5. Now this is ready button 3 selected. Now what I will do? I will press F6 here. You see, I don't want. Okay, or else I'll press F5. I'll go inside. I don't want to go execute this. I don't want to execute this. I just want to say F7. I want to return. Now what is in internal table? LTEKPO. Just press F7. Press F7. You will be out of that block, out of this fetch EKPO data block. But you see, your select query has executed, and you have the data of 20 records in the in the internal table. Now we have the display data. Okay, I don't want to go into this. I'll just say F8 here. Okay, I don't want to say F6. I just want to say F8. That's it. You get a pop-up. You see the data, verify the data, just close it. Simple. Okay, so this is how we can make use of our reader buttons. Okay, so now we can also define. So this is one block we have defined. Okay, if you want to define some other blocks of reader buttons, also you can define some other blocks also. I can say B2 reader button B2. Okay, so this I will say this as RB4, RB5, RB6, and I will say this as ready button 2, ready button 2, ready button 2. Okay, and text I will say let the text be as this, not an issue. Okay, go back and go to the selection text. In place of RB1, RB2, just go back, try to activate this first. Okay, this is the block 2. Right, activate your code. Okay, so now go to your text elements. You will find other radio buttons. Okay, I can say yes, uh, material text, material descriptions, MAKT, company code, data, T001 table, some FI documents, let us suppose FI documents, let us suppose basic table. Okay, I can give like this. Now go back and activate and just try to execute and see. You see now? So likewise, you can see you can add any number of, you can add any number of radio buttons as you want. But remember, they should be in group. All the radio buttons should be in group. Okay, at least there should be at least one radio button in the, there should be at least two radio buttons in the group. Only you cannot keep one radio button and you cannot frame it like a radio button group. For a radio button group, there must be two radio buttons because there should be like this or this. You need to have that facility of selecting the radio buttons, either this or this. If you have only one, then that is meaningless. Okay, in place of that one, if you want to have that one, instead of radio button, go for a checkbox. Okay, go for a checkbox. Fine. So that's about the concept of radio buttons. Okay. So as and when we require as and when there is a necessity or need in the requirement, we'll be make using of this radio buttons concept, and we'll see like in the next sessions. I may be giving you some kind of assignments to work. So at that time, you will be hopefully like making use of these radio buttons. But I advise you to have a good practice of these things. Okay, so that's about radio buttons. And if you want to modify this program, still you can modify it. What you can do on this program, you see, you have a parameters. You have material master Mara table. So you can give a select options for Mara. You can give select options for EKKO. You can give select options for EKPO. Likewise, you can use select options. Okay, it's up to you. If you want to give select options for different cases, you can give it and you can still design your program. Okay, so and apart from this, here if you see in this program, in the display Mara data, let us suppose I'm trying to make my condition false. Let us suppose this data is there, right? Okay, I'm saying search star from Mara into Mara up to 20 rows. What I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to remove the data here. Okay, just imagine refresh LT underscore Mara. What happens when I say refresh LT underscore Mara? All my internal table data will be wiped off. It means deleted. All the internal table data will delete. Okay, what happens here? Let us see. So if you put a breakpoint here, click on execute button. I select Mara, click on execute button. So if I'm going into this block, fetch Mara data, you see, I get the data into my internal table LT Mara. Now when I say refresh, all the internal table data will get deleted. Press F5, it becomes 0 records. Refresh is useful for refreshing or clearing or deleting the data inside the internal table. Now press F5. Now what happens in case of a display Mara data? The display Mara data, you are checking the condition. LT Mara is not initial. Okay, then what happens in this case? It goes to else part because there is no data, right? It goes to else part. Now press F5. You see no data found. Now click execute button. You will say no data found over here. Okay, so you are writing a statement over here, right? You are writing a statement over here on the screen. So instead of writing a statement on the screen, what I can do, I can use a concept called message. I can use a concept called message. No data found. No data. I say no data found for the selection example. Just I'm saying selection. I say type. I'll say this as like information. Okay. message, my message text type, message type, right? So just let us see how it looks like. Now activate this. Now click on execute button. Just execute. I don't want to debug anymore. Click on execute. You see now, you will have a pop-up like this. It says no data found for selection. And you see this is the kind of information message. You see this is a kind of information message. Okay, it's a kind of information message. Right? So this way you can also have some kind of additions corresponding to the message. Okay, so we have corresponding to this message, we have different corresponding to this message, we have different message types. Just we'll see that. So a message is basically, you're able to hear me, right? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so basically, when we talk about you understood about the message, like what is the use of message and how we are going to use in the context when it is required. Okay, so message basically useful for communicating the user about the execution of the program as per the requirement. Okay, so it means it will convey you, the program conveys the user, what happened to the program, whether it is success or not success, whether it is error or it is kind of a warning it is given to us, or whether the program is going to exit. Okay, so there are different types of messages. Like we have message for warning, messages for error, messages for warning, messages for success, messages for information, messages for abort, messages for exit. Okay, messages for exit. So all these messages we can make use of, but except this abort, this is like a system related. It means there are any system failures, etc. things that we will be making use of. But other than abort, the other messages we can try it in our program. Okay, we can try it in our program. So why is this mainly useful for? It is just helps us to show you the it just conveys you the message. It will just convey you some kind of message. Okay, conveys you a kind of message to the user. Right. So I will show you example of all this. I'll show you an example of all this in a program. Like how do we? I have already shown you about the information. Similar way, we will make use of this message. We'll make use of this other messages, right? So what is the syntax? So the syntax is like this. So message text type, message type. You see message, your message, whatever the message is there, your message will be in single quotes over here. Okay, and type, your message type. It means it can be you can see here, error, warning, information, about, success, or exit. Okay, so we will say that type of that message. So similarly, that is about the message. Okay, so if it is an error message, it looks like this. This is an error message. If you see this, the error message will be displayed on the taskbar with a red color. Okay, it says it is an error message. Okay, similarly, when we talk about a warning message, also displays like this on the taskbar, but you can see here a triangle symbol in yellow. This is like a warning message. When it is a error message, when there is an error message, your execution will stop at that point. You cannot go beyond that error message. It will stop. The process will stop. Your process execution will hold there only. If unless you correct it, you cannot go further. Okay, so that is with error message. But in case of a warning, it is just a warning to you. That's it. but your process will start. Your process will not be stopped. It is like a normal message given to you just to alert you to look into some data or some other processes, etc. things. But it will not stop your process. Okay. Similarly, success message. You can see this in a green tick. This is a success message. It means if you want to define any, if you want to notify the user about the successful completion of an operation, then you will make use of this success message. Okay. Similarly, if you want to provide any pop-up, okay, on the middle of your screen, just now I have explained you in the radio buttons program, like information message. So it says this is an information message, and you will be able to see like this. Okay, this is like a I. And the next thing is we have type A. Okay, so type A is for generally for ABAT. This is useful in the whenever the program is terminating immediately, we will be making use of this. But most of the times in the real-time environment, we will not come across this. Okay, maybe this can be caused. Maybe this will be used at the time of any kind of errors that is occurring in the program. So most of the times we don't come across this. And even in case of exit, like if there are any runtime errors or any kind of the dumps or any some kind of logical failures or some kind of issues with respect to the system, then in such cases this kind of message will be used. But most of the times, again, this will not be in usage for us. So technically speaking, for us, which will be more useful to us will be, useful is error messages, warning messages, success messages, information messages. Okay, so up to this level, we generally work or use in the real-time environment. That is as per the requirement. Okay, so I'll tell you an example of a program on these messages. Okay, so let me go to the system. Let me see. Okay, so there is a simple program designed for you, just for your understanding. We have given a selection screen. In the selection screen, we have given an option for message type. Okay, this message type, if you see this selection screen begin of block message type. Okay, we have given the message type as ZD message type. Let us see what is this ZD message type. This ZD message type is a data element. Okay, it is a data element. We call it as a data element. The data element, it has some values internally. It means this has a predefined values. Just try to understand, this is a data element. It has a domain. It has a predefined values defined. Okay, we will come across this data element concepts in data dictionary. I'll explain you in detail at the time. So the understanding here is we have some element already defined. It has the values. Let us suppose it has the values internally. You can see here I, S, W, X, A, etc. things. It means all the messages we have taken here. So the same thing in my in my parameters, I am referring to I have my parameter name P message type. I am referring to ZD message type. That is the reason why when you see here I'm getting a square box here. We call it as F4. We call it as we call it as we call it as F4 search help. Okay, we call it as search help. We call it as search help, and that is F4 search help. We call it as F4 search help. Okay, so what is this search help is useful for? The search help is useful for fetching the available data over here. It means when you click on this, it will show you the list of available data for this field message type. Okay, so now I can select. Now I'm selecting I. Let us suppose I'm selecting I. So when I select I and click on execute button, I will get a message like this. This is a message information. Like this is a information type. This is a message of type information. Right? Similarly, if I select a message of type success, then click on execute button. You see here, this is success. This message is successful. It means this is a successful message, right? Similarly, when I say error, okay, just click on execute button. You can see here, this is an error. Okay, this is an error message. This is an error message, right? Similarly, when I execute, when I go for warning, now click on execute button. See, this is a warning in the message. This is a warning in the message. Of course, you should get yellow here. Okay. Let us see. The warning in the message. Warning in the message. This is a warning in the message. Type W. Okay, that's fine. So we are already using W. Okay, that's fine. Now click on execute. Now go, let us see with abort what happens in this case. Click on like. You see, this message type terminates transaction. Okay, this message type terminates transaction. Say okay. It means you are out of that program. You are no more in the program. You are out of the program. The meaning is now similarly when you go for abort, click on execute. Okay, we are already done this, right? Go for execute. We say exit. You see, this is like a dump. Okay, we call this there is a runtime occurred in the program, and this is like a, we call it as a short dump. You see this is called as a short dump. This is a ABAP runtime program error. Okay, this is called as a short dump. So when such kind of short dumps occurs in your program, okay, you will go to your transaction code called ST22. ST22 is a transaction code where you will find all the dumps. You can see here runtime errors. On today, click on today. Click on today. You see in my program, you see this is my program. Z ABAP batch 1 raise message. There is a program error occurred, and by who is the user, and what is the runtime error, message type X text. And if you click on this and click on this display long text, you can analyze what happened, where is the error. You can see here error analysis. Okay, and source code extract, where that error occurred in your program, where is that error occurred, at which point that error has triggered, at which point your error has triggered. You see this, it triggered at this point when we selected message type as X. Then at the time of executing this message type creates a runtime dump type X. At this point it has created this error. It will clearly tell you, the system will clearly tell you at which point there is an issue occurred. Then you can analyze the code and make the changes in the code, and you can proceed with further processing of the program. Okay, so in real time, we will make use of this ST22 runtime errors ABAP runtime errors tool for analyzing the data, for analyzing the, not the data, for analyzing the code, for analyzing the code which is giving you some kind of issue while running your program. Okay, so that's about an example of all the messages. You try to make use of this these messages as per your requirement. Okay, you try to make use of this usage of these messages as per your requirement. So most of the times in real time we will make use of this concept. Okay, so that's about the concept of messages. All right.